Listen to me. Every time someone around you dies, it's because you're not listening to yourself. When you are truly who you are, Chris Smith, it's what happens, man.
Nothing.
You touch people, man. I believe in miracles because of you. I saw an eagle hug a human. I know who I am because of you.
Peace. For 2 years and a movie, that's all he ever wanted. Not the twisted, violent version he was raised to believe in, but real peace. A quiet moment, a sense of belonging, a belief that maybe, just maybe, he wasn't the poison he was told he was. And for a glorious 20 minutes in this finale, Christopher Smith finally found it. He was free.
This is for Ricky. You piece of shit.
The show gave us the perfect, earned, character-driven ending, and then ripped it away in the final 60 seconds for one of the most brutal cliffhangers I have ever seen. Was the Peacemaker finale a brilliant, tragic setup for the future of the DCU, or was it a cheap shot that undermined the entire season's emotional journey? If you want to understand why this episode was almost perfect, stick around. We need to talk about Full Nelson. What's up, my know-it-alls? That emotional whiplash. From the tears of relief in that motel room to the terror of being stranded on a hostile alien world, this finale took us on a ride. But it just misses being a perfect 10. We'll get into exactly what holds it back from perfection. I was ready to stand up and applaud what I thought was one of the most satisfying character conclusions I'd seen in years. And then the last minute happened. It's a brilliant, gut-wrenching, and just slightly frustrating ending. We're breaking it all down today. The beautiful, emotional, interventional, all of it that paid off the entire series. It's the birth of a major new DC team, Checkmate, and of course, the gut punch of an ending and what ultimately Salvation Run means for the entire DCU going forward. Let me know in the comments, do you love or hate the cliffhanger? Did it make you more excited for the future of the DCU, or did you want Chris to just have his happy ending? Sound off below. So the episode picks up with Chris in custody, but he's quickly bailed out by the 11th Street Kids, specifically Adebayo, with the help of one Adrian, who she finally gets to give in through some really clever, I hate to say manipulation, but essentially it's what she did. The same way that in season 1, she sort of manipulated him to try to go and take out Peacemaker's dad originally in jail. She does a similar thing here where she essentially makes it very much like, hey, I thought you were better than this.
I guess I'm just better friends with Chris than you, that's all.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought, but I'm willing to possibly take on a blood curse to help Chris, and you're just not.
Oh!
After he tries to run, because remember, they got him out of jail, they stage what really amounts to an emotional intervention, finally breaking through his angel of death complex and convincing him he deserves to live. This is one of the most emotionally resonant scenes I think I've ever experienced in my life. And we'll get into it in a minute, but with the team finally united and healed, they officially formed Checkmate. Now, Checkmate's a new independent agency with Adebayo leading and Sacha Bordeaux and Langston Fleury joining their ranks. It's really great to finally see. When you get to see that moment, the slow-mo walk, it was everything I remember or knew that I wanted from an ending when it comes to these characters. Rick Flag Sr., he uses the portal device to find a habitable but deserted world. This process is the most brutal thing ever. So you get to see everybody going into the portals and they're going and exploring different rooms and whatnot. And it's so funny because they make it, do you remember when Keith was talking about, remember that time that, that Chris found himself over to Imp World or whatever?
What the hell you call them things?
Imps.
Imps, yeah. running around. I go, Chris, what the hell are you doing? Christopher's rummaging around the Munchkin dimension 8 doors down.
They're not munchkins, Dad. They're imps.
Trying to have one of them giant peppermint sticks.
That's the world they end up finding. And they get attacked, and when they get attacked, well, what? Cupid dies, which is terrible. Cupid gets it, and I'm like, what? But the way he gets it, having his face ultimately eaten by pixies, it's one of those things that when it happened, I was just like, what? And then when they're ultimately trying to take out the pixies, every time they either shoot one or rip it apart or something, it does this sparkly sound effect. It's kind of both gross because it's a sparkly sound effect, but you also see all the splatter and stuff that's very reminiscent of the show. In all of this, they finally come across a world that matches up what they're looking for, and they don't really know what they're looking for because it was getting really dour there for a minute. So when ultimately they make it there, Flag renames it. He names the new place they're talking about Salvation, and ultimately reveals the plan. This is going to be an off-world, inescapable metahuman prison.
We're talking just metahumans, right?
Yeah, most likely. I haven't outlined all the parameters. I'm still dealing with it from a legal standpoint.
The scene where we find this out is in the Pentagon building in the whole 9 yards, and I really love it. If you listen to, again, the Peacemaker podcast with James Gunn, he talks about that while they were filming Superman, they were like, hey, we're gonna real quick grab this scene for the show. And they had Sasha come in. It's the first time she plays Bordeaux. The actress who plays Bordeaux, rather. We have just everybody suddenly show up and just kind of say, okay, now we're gonna play these parts. So they, like, that's one of those things that gets me about acting, is that they've got to literally be able to catch that emotional resonant moment without ever having experienced any of the history that it takes to normally get to that kind of emotional place. So it's pretty interesting. I find it very interesting the way the whole thing sort of susses out. And I think, but ultimately, just as Chris has found peace, Flag's agents abduct him. And in a really brutal final act of revenge for his son, Flag exiles Peacemaker to Salvation, making him its first and thus far only prisoner, ultimately before leaving him to fend for himself against unseen alien monsters. Now, let's be clear, for the first 95% of this runtime, this episode's a perfect 10. The intervention scene is in the motel is, I would argue, is the emotional climax of the entire series. It's the payoff for 2 seasons of violent, bloody therapy by proxy. All right, every single character gets their moment. Danielle, bro, when I tell you Adebayo has this heartfelt plea. Now, I told you we talk about it.
It's because you're not listening to yourself. Your father told you to fight your brother. You did. Waller told you to kill Rick, and you did, and you knew you shouldn't have gone to that other world.
It's a plea that just sort of shatters Chris's defenses. I love that moment so much.
I believe in miracles because of you. I saw an eagle hug a human. I know who I am because of you.
Everybody has sort of gone in. Chris is trying to run away from all of them. And while they're talking, Adebayo does the most. If you have never had this moment with a friend who's talking something stupid, talking something crazy, and ultimately she does the thing, and I remember she yanks it was the body language that I was like, oh my God, I've been in this moment on both sides of that table. She yanks the chair over, sits down in front of him, and she's like, look.
Chris, listen to me. Every time someone around you dies, it's because you're not listening to yourself.
I feel like it's you can see the talent at work. Yeah. Danielle Brooks joined the show prior to having ever received a nomination or recognition of an Oscar. And now she's an Oscar-nominated actress. So James Gunn allowed her to ugly cry. And by ugly cry, I mean you could see the streaks in her face from the tears. And it was amazing.
When I'm around you, I feel loved. You're big and you're stupid, but I know you love me. And I don't know if I can say that about anybody else in this world.
And I watched this and I'm like, whoa, like it's so good. It is so good. Yeah, man, it's unreal. And in this moment, really, I would argue that it's this moment when Chris stops being Peacemaker and finally allows himself just to be Christopher Smith. Look, it's beautiful, earned, and fantastically acted by the whole cast. This finale did some heavy lifting for the future of the DCU. First, it's the birth of Checkmate. Okay, so in the comics, Checkmate is actually a morally gray spy agency, often run by Amanda Waller, which is really a genius move here, which is Gunn is ultimately subverting that, making it I would say making it a truly heroic watchdog group led by Adebayo. The literal opposite of her mother. It's gonna give our team a legitimate purpose. And then there's Salvation. As any know-it-all worth their salt knows, this is basically a direct pull from the Salvation run in the comics, where Walter exiles dozens of supervillains to a prison planet. It isn't just a prison, it's a powder keg. Flag naming this planet's Salvation is a massive flashing signpost for where the DCU is headed, and I kind of think it's an incredibly exciting setup, especially because, like we expected, James Gunn's gonna James Gunn. What do I mean by that? Guardians of the Galaxy was a very obscure title that he made something special, that he did something with. Suicide Squad, same thing. He finds ways of making things that are awkward, odd, better. If you look at all the villains and characters he picked for Suicide Squad, none of them have been, well, I think all of them have actually been on Suicide Squad at one point or another, but none of them have been major in the comics. I mean, not major, until he made them something, okay? I mean, seriously, Polka Dot. I mean, really? That's an unbelievable good use of that character, and he did a wonderful job with him. The cliffhanger is brutal, but it's also brilliant because it finally crystallizes Rick Flag Sr.'s motivation. All season, he's been a ruthless operator, but now I was gonna say we know why, but I think we've always known why. I think now we've just confirmed it. It wasn't about justice or the greater good. It was a long con to get personal revenge for his son's death. Oh yeah, it turns him from a simple antagonist into arguably a truly compelling villain with a tragic, understandable motive. It's a fantastic twist. Here's my one small gripe. The ending, while shocking and a really great hook when you think about it for future projects, it really slightly cheapened the perfect character conclusion we just got. I remember thinking to myself exactly that. I was like, why would you do this? But the episode did the hard work of giving Chris emotional peace, of resolving his core internal conflict, only to immediately pivot to tune in next time in Man of Tomorrow to see what happens. It prioritizes the franchise setup over the satisfaction of this particular story's conclusion. It's an incredible episode, but that choice, okay, and believe me, that's what it is. That choice to ultimately sacrifice character finality for a plot hook, I feel like that's what separates it from the flawless perfection of last week's episode. So there you go, now you know. And if knowing's half the battle, you're halfway to being a know-it-all yourself. Full Nelson is a phenomenal piece of television. It delivers one of the most satisfying and emotionally resonant character arcs in the entire superhero genre, giving its hero a moment of true peace that was earned through blood, sweat, definitely tears, and it masterfully sets the stage for the future of the DCU with the introduction of Checkmate and Salvation, giving us really a clear and exciting path forward. It's an episode of soaring emotional highs, and I would really argue a crushing gut punch of a low. It's a finale that ultimately is going to have us talking for years, even if it leaves its hero in a fate arguably worse than death. For its masterful character work, its brilliant world building, and a cliffhanger that is as frustrating as it is fantastic, where does the Peacemaker Season 2 finale land on the Know-It-All Index? I'm giving Full Nelson a very, very strong, and I would say earned, 9 out of 10.
Can spiders make milk?
No.
Yes, they can.
What?
Yeah.
They can make milk? Do
That's-
they have udders? How do they do that?
They have little tiny udders. Yeah, definitely. You can buy spider milk, you know that, right?
Where?
Yeah, at Whole Foods.
It's an outstanding finale that delivers on almost every conceivable level. It just chose to prioritize the next chapter over giving its main character a moment to breathe. I feel like a lot of people I keep hearing rather, a lot of people talk about how, how do we don't know what's going on, blah, blah, this and that. I don't necessarily know that I agree with that idea. I feel like when you set up the next season, you do a really good job of establishing sort of the permanency of the characters And 2 times people do this. 1, it's a Hail Mary, and you're hoping the network or whoever is going to renew your show. And then 2, when you are that confident in it. And I believe James Gunn is that confident in it. And he's done a wonderful job of earning that, in my opinion. Too many people right now are looking for his downfall or whatever else. I think it's interesting that the season's idea of cameos was essentially all of Lex's staff. We really haven't talked about the Lex Luthor of it all. But either way, I think it's clear to see that Lex Luthor, while being the most intelligent man in the room, it was manipulating Flag. That's 100% my take. So, anyways, we'd love to hear your comments. Comment below. Let me know. Was I crazy? Did you like my score rather? Are you in agreement with me on the things I'm seeing? If not, let me know. Comment below. I would love to hear your thoughts and have this dialogue continue a little further. We'd love to hear your thoughts on all that stuff, and I cannot wait to get more into it. All right, guys. I'll talk to you again real soon. Never forget, everyone loves a know-it-all. Bye, guys.